All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our today's session. This is Arash Aghajani from Vancouver, Canada. I'm Microsoft MVP and Community Leader for Power Platform Learner to Leader. Today we have a special guest. I'm going to a little bit introduce our community and this month's actually presentation, and we have lined up for a speaker for this month, as you see in my screen. Today we have Samya, and she is a business and AI consultant, actually Copilot Studio enthusiast, and she's going to talk about unlocking the potential of conversational agent using the Microsoft Copilot Studio. So it's an interesting topic for today, and I'm excited to see what's going on and learn something new about the Copilot Studio that Samya present today. So next week on February 19, Wednesday, at the noon CET time, the Norm Yang or another outstanding speaker will talk about the adaptive card for MS Teams using the Dataverse and the Power Automate. So if you haven't registered actually for that session, please do it as soon as possible. So it will be held on Wednesday, February 19th. So let me quickly introduce our community here. So as you may know, we are part of the Microsoft Learn community. The Microsoft Learn community offers various ways for learners to connect with peers and experts to enhance their expertise and achieve career goals. It includes the Microsoft Learn Hub for updates and discussion, and Learning Room for direct engagement on a specific topic. You can access the community through this link, aka.ms/Microsoft Learn community, and to engage with the Microsoft Learn community. Power Platform Learner to Leader is one of the Microsoft Learning Room, which has more than 2,300 members. We are sharing the latest information about Power Platform in our Learning Room, and also conduct this series of session every Saturday, and on the Saturday and the Wednesday for Power Platform enthusiasts. So if you are not a member of our tech community, join through this link. Let me put it in the chat, aka.ms/join PPLTL, Power Platform Learner to Leader. And the last but not least slide here is the code of conduct. So like the ever, and Microsoft aims to empower everyone globally through knowledge sharing and events, ensuring a respectful and inclusive environment for all. Harassment or degrading behavior is not tolerated, and everyone is responsible for upholding these standards. The code of conduct encourages awareness, friendliness, respect, openness, understanding, and kindness. A few important notes for today. If you have any question during the presentation, feel free to type them in the chat box, and we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of this session. And this session is being recorded for those who couldn't join us live, and will be available shortly in Power Platform Learner to Leader YouTube channel. Perfect. That's all at my end. So without any delay, I'm going to add Samya to the stage to start her presentation and introduce herself. Hello, Samya. Nice to meet you.
Hey everyone. I hope everybody's able to hear me well.
Yeah, I'm hearing you well. Hope you are
Awesome.
doing well. Can you please share your screen or your presentation
Of
file?
course,
Thank you.
I'll go ahead. Okay, let me know when it is visible to you all. Wait, why don't I see it? Okay, just a sec. I'm not able to see it here. Give me a second. Let me try again. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I can see the screen to present. Not sure. Oh, let me share the entire screen. No worries. I just make sure this
Okay, it's
is
coming.
going correct. Yeah. Okay. I am just trying to get you here. Is
Okay, go
the
ahead.
partner? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So can I maybe begin? Sorry for
Yes.
that glitch. Awesome. So hey everyone. Today I'll be talking about the Microsoft Copilot Studio. I've been working with conversational agents for a while, and I'm personally working on Studio and its capabilities so far. So the session today will have uh, we have a couple of things in store for you. We'll be building up with a background of what conversational AI is. Then we'll touch a bit about what low code, no code is, and then we'll talk at length about the Microsoft Copilot Studio as a platform and what it offers, what are the capabilities, what are the advantages of opting it as to a high code solution for some basic use cases. So I'll quickly jump through the slide. Maybe there's some glitch in the. Okay. So before starting, I'll just quickly introduce myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Soumya. Arash, thank you so much for having me. I'm a business consultant. I work in Pune, India. I generally work on low code, no code platforms, everything Microsoft offers in terms of Power Platforms. Very personally, very passionate about Gen AI and how it is empowering these platforms, which do not need little to no coding to provide such effective solutions. So that's personally what I'm quite passionate about. So yeah, you can connect me on with me on LinkedIn, and you can also set up a one-on-one with me on TopMate if required. And if I don't respond on both, which is very unlikely, then you can also reach out to me on email. So my socials are on the screen here. So thank you so much for having me. So we'll quickly jump into what's in the store for the audiences here. So yeah, we'll talk about the need of conversational agents. I have tried to keep it very objective so that it's easy to understand as to what exactly they are and why do we need that in current era, and how AI comes into picture and plays a big role there. We'll move on to why we need to choose low code, no code for certain set of um, use cases. So I've personally worked on a couple of use cases. We've implemented end-to-end solutions using low code, no code tools. So I'll focus a bit about why we choose it as a solution other than a high code solution. We'll then talk at length about Microsoft Copilot Studio. I have an end-to-end demo with you, wherein we will be building a conversational AI chatbot uh, on the go, and I'll take you through the entire studio experience and the platform. We'll talk a bit about the features of the studio and also how easy and quick is the deployment process. After the demo is done, we will also be talking about two specific use cases, which are the most applicable for solutions like this, which also I have personally implemented for few teams in my organization. So I'll be talking a bit about the problem statements there and how we solved it using Microsoft Copilot Studio. And of course, we are attending an AI powered session. So we will definitely have to talk about some best practices, what is there to keep in mind, how can we be responsible, etc. So yeah, this is what we are going to cover in the next 40-45 minutes, and I hope I am in time. But yeah, let's quickly dive in, and please feel free to put any questions in the chat, and Arash will help me coordinating that. Okay. Okay, so for the need, right? So the need of conversational AI chatbots, I've tried to abbreviate it so that we remember it correctly into three different things. We call it QQF, which is quality, quantity, and frequency. So the first one, which you see here, is the accurate and instant support. So currently, the conversational AI bots, which are especially deployed for customer-centric roles, for example, IT or HR chatbots. Which I think a lot of you might have interacted with in an e-commerce website or a travel website. These are automated workflows wherein the process of getting from raising the issue to reaching the solution is very long, since there's both an automation and a human in the loop present, which makes the entire process very long. And often after the end of this waiting time, the quality of answers is compromised due to the number of the number of people reaching out and human errors that are present in the list. So accuracy is a huge point wherein AI needs to be a part of the conversational agent. So the first point reflects the quality of responses. The second would be the quantity, wherein we will be looking at always available support. Now we only have a number of people which currently work in shifts in these conversational AI services, wherein they change their shifts to make sure that the support is provided to all the customers. However, this does take a toll at the quality of responses as well, and it is not practically possible to have less wait times for the end customer, which goes to my second point, which is the quantity. The quantity of right now is a lot. And third is frequency, which basically means not just the number of these queries is a lot, it's the same query being repeated after one after the other, which I'll cover in the solution of it. So this will be the frequency. So uh, bad quality responses, high quantity of queries here, and repetitive, so high frequency as well, is all the three bring together the need of why we need to enhance this current workflow, which goes to the solution that we are now trying to deploy using AI. So what AI does exactly, right? It is able to imply and answer questions which are directly answered from a particular knowledge base, and we'll see at length in the demo. We'll be trying to replicate this. So yeah, the two major solutions that we'll deploy here, one will be an enhanced customer experience, wherein an AI will come into picture to provide an instant as well as a personalized support, which will serve as the solution for the first two problems, which is the quality and the quantity. um, how we are going to do that is by training the model, on a specific data set only, so that it is expert in that certain field, and it is able to answer end to end everything which is lying in that field. And it will be accurate and also fast, as it is AI and not a human involved in the process. Of course, when we say this, having said that, we do have agent handoff features as well, as in when the question that is asked to a customer, to an AI bot, which does not fall in the trained data that it is being trained on, then there is always a feature to direct the user to a human support. But this definitely provides a funnel to the number of queries that are coming in. So that solves, to an extent, solves the first two problems. And for the frequency, we will be looking at some streamlined operations. So the whole idea here is to automate the not just the conversations, but all the tasks which are a repetitive and two high frequency. So anytime, if I take a step back from AI, I have also worked personally a lot in automation. So the whole idea of automation coming into picture for any solution is when uh, a, a single task is happening, one at a high frequency and two multiple times, so it's a repetitive task. It is something that a machine can absolutely solve, and when AI comes into picture, it adds intelligence to it as well. So what we are trying to target is get identifying these routine tasks and also automating them, so that AI comes into picture and take a lead on this. And all the complex issues which actually need the human brain to innovate, to solve, to create, is something that the human which will be removed from these tasks will be deployed into. So that's how we are looking at the organizations to maybe delegate this work to AI, so that the actual workforce can be used for something much more innovative. So yeah, that's what we are looking at in terms of the need that we have for the conversational AI chatbots. I hope I was clearly audible. I hope I'm not going too fast. Please let me know.
All good. So
Okay.
one thing. So Samaya, so there is a small control panel at your screen. So it's for your sharing. So it's overlap to the title.
Yep.
Can you please move this? Oh, okay. All good. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, of course. Okay, so I'll quickly move ahead and I'll touch a bit about why are we using low code, no code tools, right? So all the things that I covered in the previous slide and all the use cases that are currently solved by AI can be deployed using a high code solution. When I say high code, maybe that means that you'll be writing codes for creating an LLM, or creating chunks, or making entities out of them, and then providing a solution to the end customer or the end user. So why do we need to choose low code, no code tools. And this will be particularly for use cases which are simple to medium complexities. So there are three major reasons that we are looking at. The first is the fast development cycles, and this I have personally experienced. So there is one use case wherein we had an IT chatbot that we were deploying for a set of 1000 PDF files, on the basis of which we had to give the answers to the users. It was for a small set of department for an organization, and the end to end testing along with the internal test development plus the internal testing took 3 weeks of time only when we were using Copilot Studio, and could have been shrunk to even less if the internal testing was not as rigorous as we did it. So we wanted to ensure quality, which is why we did it in 3 weeks. But yeah, so the fast development cycles is one of the major reasons why currently low code no code tools, aka Microsoft Copilot Studio, is being chosen for deploying solutions. So that's one. The second is the minimal technical prerequisites. So I myself come from an electrical engineering background, and about 2.5 years back, I joined the organization I'm working for, and that is when I started understanding what this is. Now, AI is huge. However, when it comes to any one low code, no code tool, the learning curve for that, for the time taken for learning that particular tool is very, very small. Having said that, you do need to have a logic building capability with you, but the functionalities are very quick to pick up. Hence, you can train a team faster and you can deploy a solution faster as well. So, minimal technical prerequisites required. A high code solution will, on the other hand, need a very high technical prerequisite to deploy a solution. So, that's second. And I think the one and two adds to third. So, the cost efficiency, the end to end deployment cost for any solution, be it a customer experience bot or a high level use case. Since the development cycles are fast and the prerequisites are minimal to train a team, we will obviously save a lot on the cost, and hence the solution becomes cost effective. So for all the use cases which are straightforward, which are medium to low complexity, can directly be solved by a low code no code solution. Yeah. Yeah, so now we'll just talk about Copilot Studio, and I think I can maybe move to my screen for demo. So I'll just quickly cover this and we'll move to the demo. So we are talking about Microsoft Copilot Studio. It's a low-code, no-code platform, and it enables easy creation and deployment of conversational AI bots. Now it is also expanded to making workflows automated. However, we are currently discussing only conversational AI. So I'll quickly maybe switch the screen and show what we are looking at for the ES. Sorry, give me a second. Yeah, there you go. Is this visible? I think I'm showing the Microsoft Copilot Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are seeing.
Awesome. Okay. So this is what the tool looks like, right? So we are trying to create a conversation AI bot right now, and I'll make it live for you. So what we are trying to do is using this tool. Here's a PDF that I have just created, by the way. It is on how to become a customer success manager. It's a very random customer success training document that we've had, and it has a couple of details around it. It also has pictures in it, and a couple of information on how to be skilled as a customer manager. So we will be talking about how we can maybe Q&A or query on this data, on this particular PDF. This is what we'll be building from scratch right now. So let's just go back to Copilot Studio, and we'll go and create here. And before I start a new agent, if you see, we already have a lot of pre-made templates that Studio gives us, wherein there are these conversations dedicated to the topics that are present there and the description that is provided, where the work of a developer gets even lesser. However, right now we will be making something from scratch, since I don't see anything customer manager centric. But yeah, we could always utilize this as well. So we'll go to new agent here. And one feature, one of the many features that I'll also be covering a bit in my slides later is NLP, which is natural language processing. So here, if you see this particular UI, we can directly skip to configure as well, or we can directly talk to the bot right now and ask it, tell him what we are creating. So it is asking us, what would you like to make? So let's just say we are trying to create a customer success manager training bot, right? And let's go for it. And I'll try to show you what are the different parts of the bot as well. But if you see, the moment I wrote this, there was an inbuilt instructions tab that was populated here, right? So if you see, provide a comprehensive training for customer success managers, offer detailed guidance on best practices, and there was the entire instructions bot already set. This saves a lot of time in the prompt engineering part, which we put a lot of effort on when we create a dedicated bot for any use case, is populating the instructions tab, which essentially is something that the GPT uses to generate responses. So it says great, the initial setup is done. Yeah, and it is also suggesting me a name. If the name looks good, I'll just go for looks good. And I think we'll be done. We'll have some follow-up questions that we need to ask, but these will all be optional. So if you see what would be emphasized or avoided, so I don't think I have anything specific, and especially in the interest of the time, maybe we can directly jump to none. And I want to let you know how the bot responds. This point, what to be emphasized or avoided by, is very important when it comes to something which we are making for a specific client, wherein there are a lot of compliance details that are fed in. So we do have a section in the instructions to let them know what not to cover. Understood. Let's proceed by setting some functionalities, and they already added some functionalities for me. So I'll just skip that step as well. But yeah, feel free to play around with the chat configuration as well. All of this can also be done using the configuration step. I'm just trying to show you how simply interactive this is, and we are developing a bot right now. Okay, so now it asks me to provide a website here, right? However, the PDF right now here is in my local. So I want to upload it, which you cannot do using a chat. So currently I'll just skip this step and say none, but I will show you how we can add this PDF to the knowledge source. I'll just quickly be done with it. Okay, so this is done. I'll just go to create now, and we'll have a bot ready. So this agent is setting up. This takes only a few minutes, and then we will be adding a knowledge source. We already have a customized instructions that the bot populated using our conversation that we had just now. I'll also be talking a bit about where we can publish this bot and how many integrations are pre-built here. So yeah, if you see here, the name of the bot is Success Guide. It has a description, it has an instruction, which by the way is very important for any bot to respond to your questions. The next step here is to go to knowledge. So we go to knowledge and we add knowledge here, right? So if you see here, we have public websites that we can add. We can add SharePoint sites, which the data gets very securely added since it's a Microsoft internal connector. We can also have Dataverse tables, which are present in Dataverse to connect here, and that will be a structured data that it will be questioning on. And I have tried this as well. The accuracy is very high. We also have some advanced connectors here. So if you see, we can directly connect them to Azure SQL. We can also connect it to Salesforce directly if the organization login is added here. We can directly connect it to ServiceNow as well, which I was talking previously about, and I'll be covering a bit of it in one of the use cases that I'll be sharing with the team. So yeah, we have a couple of inbuilt connectors, and these are popularly known as graph connectors that we have, that we can directly configure using the bot. Right now we are keeping it very basic, so I'll directly drag and drop something here. And if you see, there is a 512 MB limit per file for this. uh, what I am browsing on may have a very small size, so that shouldn't be an issue. So I'll directly upload it. And if you see, once we have uploaded, we also have a description here. So I generally mention what the knowledge contains. Okay, yeah. So we'll add it. Yeah, a quick call out here when uploading pictures, and it's also written here, is that only text-based files are supported as of now. So pictures and images, maybe an audio file or a video file, and also some executable files will currently not cannot be directly uploaded to this. Another known limitation of low-code, no-code tools is they perform much better on unstructured data. Structured data such as an Excel file, right, or an audio file or a video file will not be as well received or as well answered. However, we did try to put in audio transcripts, and that worked very well because it's again in a text format. So yeah, this takes a bit to process. Meanwhile, I'll just get you familiar through the entire process here. So once the knowledge is uploaded, here is a topic section, right? And there are a couple of topics that are already created. So if you see this, hello, I'm a success guide, this is a part of the conversation start, because that's how the welcome message is configured. So if I go to conversation start here, maybe I'll find this welcome message. Yeah, there you go. So if you see, and the bot name here is variabilized, so the whatever we set in the first few steps will be populated here. This is how the conversation starts, and then we have multiple types of topics here to complete the end to end flow of the conversation. So we have conversation start, we have end of conversation, we also have an escalate feature, which I was talking about as a handoff feature if we want to get a human in the loop. We'll have a fallback, which we generally use when there's an error that is coming into the current flows. We have multiple topics matched in case there are multiple more topics with a similar trigger name. That might be an answer. If I go to one of these, right, say, let me go to conversational boosting. And conversation boosting is actually where the actual generative AI bit comes in. But before that, I would want to talk about the triggers here, right? So if you see, we can edit these triggers. We can maybe have this as as a redirect from some other topic, or we can independently have it triggered. For that, we can add in. So here it is an intent. We can change it, and we can add phrases. We can add, if there's a message received, then we can direct it here, etc. So there are a couple of options here to invoke this. We can also trigger it when the user is inactive for, say, a certain amount of time. That is also when we can redirect it. So that is the trigger part. That is how a single topic triggers when we are having a conversation with a bot, right? What I want to particularly talk about is the generative answers node. And this, I think, is one of the major game changers of the entire flow that we get. So a couple of options here, if you see. So if I go to data sources, right, and I click edit, so there are a couple of things happening here. First is select only from the selected sources, and the second is allow the AI to use its own general knowledge, right? Now, I think I was speaking about this when I was talking about the need of the conversational bots, is that we generally use AI chatbots not for decision making, but for something which is on trained data and trained data only. So we generally keep this off. And I might I can, if anyone is interested, I can also let you know what are the use cases when you should keep it on. But generally, in case of a knowledge set that we are training the bot on, we generally keep this as off, and we keep the selected only data sources off. And now I see that the knowledge in progress might have been completed, because I see that document here. So I just click on this, right? So now everything that this bot will be answering from will where the generative node is required will be from this particular document. Having said that, I also want to talk about the content moderation level. So this is a concept that Microsoft offers, wherein we have the data, the content moderation level defined as a balance of accuracy and relevance. So if you see, if I for example, put it as low. So the content moderation level low means the accuracy of the answers will be low. However, the relevance of the answers will be high. What I mean by that is, if there is a question and the bot doesn't have the right answer, the exact answer for it, the bot will still attempt the question. It might not have given you the exact answer, but it will give you an answer which is closest to the current data set that it is trained on. So that means the answer will be relevant, but its accuracy is questionable. If I make it high, on the other hand, then the opposite would happen. The bot will not attempt the question unless the exact answer is present in the knowledge set. Now, a lot of times, the user will not use the same language that you are expecting it to, which means that the user may have a synonym that it is using for the same answer, which is why we generally try to keep it as medium or low. We refrain from keeping it as high, since the number of answers that the bot is attempting decreases by quite a lot of percentage, which is why we keep it to low or medium. So right now I think I'll keep it to low so that I can show you guys how the answers are coming in. And here is where the prompt part goes in. Now, mind you, if we do not populate anything here, we have already populated things in the instruction, which is in the overview section. So that is a common instruction for the entire bot. So if we don't put anything here, it will still follow those instructions and attempt to answer the question that we are asking. However, it is very much recommended to have a dedicated set of instructions for this particular section, so that only generative AI and the LLM call that we will be doing, that is all inbuilt, would have this prompt as an input, and that will improve the answer quality, right? So I may just write that please be precise and accurate in your responses. Oops, sorry, we have not doing. Okay. In your responses, keep the and I welcome any suggestions that you would want to have as well. We generally try to keep it specific to one, the response quality, and two, the behavior of the bot. That is the two things that we mostly focus on. But of course, we can write a whole lot here. We have 8,000 characters limit. So we generally try to do an elaborate background, task, everything here. I'm just, for the sake of the time constraint, I'm just trying to make it a bit quicker. Keep the answers specific knowledge, upload knowledge source, I would just say. Okay. All right. And do we have something else that I want to cover? Yes. So we also have an advanced section. And again, this is not necessary right now, but if you see, there's an LLM call that we are doing. So there's an LLM response that comes in, right? So we generally pick only the text of it and we save it in the output variable, whatever. However, we can also maybe have the complete LLM call as well, wherein we'll also have the token type, we'll have the model that it's using as well. For the time being, we only need the text because we are only concerned about the answer. So yeah, we will just close this, save this, and maybe we'll just get into action now. So I'll go back to this PDF and I'll ask a question, say, what is a customer match? I think it's a very straightforward question. I hope it is able to answer it. Okay, it is saved here. Yep, okay. So I'll just refresh this and hope that the demo gods are with me today. Okay, and I will also, so there's one more thing that we do here. We switch on the track between the topics. So we'll know where this, this trigger is going through. What is the design, the conversation design it's following to answer the question. So I'll just hit send and check if it is able to respond. So yeah, it comes to the generative answers node. And there you go, we have an answer. So we'll just quickly check if it is the same answer. And yeah, I believe the answer is exactly the same. Okay, let's make it a little bit more complicated. So let me look through what can we have. Um, mm, let's look at something which is not exactly framed as a question yet. So let me ask them what are some online courses that are present for CSM, right? Okay. And mind you, I have put the content moderation as low, so it will attempt the question. The accuracy might or might not be there. So yeah, that is exactly where it picks up the answer from, where I think I picked the question. So if you see platforms like Coursera offer these. Yep. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is what I was talking about when I talked about the development cycle being too small. I'll quickly cover maybe channels and then we will go back to the presentation, and I think I can close it in the next 10 minutes. Okay, so we have developed this bot, right? But we have to deploy it for the end user to use it. And what are some major places that the user can use it for? You can either have this deployed on a custom website, right? There can be a custom website, a mobile application, but a lot of times what we've seen is Teams integration is one of the most easy way to integrate these bots. One being it's a Microsoft platform, so the entire integration is very seamless. So Microsoft Teams, we have a custom as well. We can add it on Facebook also. I think WhatsApp is also an option. We can use Twilio, Twilio to put it on WhatsApp as well. So if you're making, say, a business AI chatbot, then you can maybe have a business account connected to this, and that's how you can. We can also use Line for the same, Telegram, Slack. So sky's the limit, right? If you see here, and if you see down here, we have customer engagement hub. Now, each of these organizations, right? If they are putting in an AI chatbot, then they also have a dedicated customer service team, which I'm sure will be getting. Shrunk by deploying bots like this, but they'll still exist as a human handoff optional. So this is where we configure that. So if you see Dynamics 365 customer service and all other platforms, is the most used is from Microsoft. This is used to transfer this particular chat to their window so that they can directly chat with the customers if the current AI bot is not able to answer the question, right? So yeah, just want to highlight that, and I think we can go back. Is there any questions on this? I can quickly take that, or we can just go back to the rest of the sites.
There is no question now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'll just quickly go back to the slides, and I can now quickly go through these because now we have already seen the user-friendly interface that I just showed to create an end-to-end bot on that PDF. We saw some comprehensive capabilities, which included the integrations, which included the publishing channels, which also had the customer engagement hub in it. We also saw the generative AI node, etc. AI-driven insights. So Copilot Studio provides an analytics tool as well. Can I show that as well? Let me quickly go there. Okay, so if you see here, this is an analytics tab, and this will only be there for a published bot, which we don't have right now. However, the kind of things that we can see here is the engagement. We can see the number of people joining in the conversations. We can see the feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down. We can check, we can use all this data to enhance the bot further. We can join in some matrices to understand how the bot is performing, what are some feedbacks that are provided. We can incorporate them. So there can be a whole roadmap created as to the new versions of the chatbot using these analytics tab. So there are some AI generated analytics combined with the innate analytics tab that is present in Studio. And also we have some custom feedback flows as well that we create, wherein what we do is we get around on the adaptive cards a bit, and we provide the user to additionally add some comments to their experience, which we can also capture in a SharePoint list or a Dataverse table, and then analyze that as well. So that's an added capability that a developer can deploy over the pre-built AI capabilities. So yeah, those were the three things which majorly make Studio. So yeah, now we talk about the deploying process in in Studio, and I think I mostly covered it. So the first step will be creation, which we did currently. So we created a chatbot, we provided the instructions to it, we gave it a purpose, we gave it a definition, and that is everything it needed to understand what the bot wants to do. Second would be configuration, and I think this will be the second step. Here we will be adding the knowledge sources, and I only added a document. However, there is a plethora of documents and data that the bot can currently be trained on. We are also creating multiple orchestration bots as well, so that these topics can be individually bought in when a customer wants to interact with it. For example, a single bot can maybe answer more than one topics by having dedicated conversations for it. So that's also something that we can handle. So by defining conversational flows, which is the second part, and also have some testing tools that we can use to define these chatbot configurations. So that's the configuration part. That's second. Generative AI node configuration will also be a part of this step only. And the third would be deploy, which we saw as the channels facility. A huge part of deploying will be authentication part, wherein the organization admin center needs to chime in for setting up the integration, wherein we might need some tokens, we might need some secret IDs, some credentials to set that up. But once it is set, the integration is seamless, and that's how we can deploy changes as well to the newer versions of the chatbot can also be deployed, redeployed on the same platform. So the most important part here, right, is what we currently did was the configuration part, which I think can make or break the entire bot, which I emphasized enough on, I think, when we were developing. But yeah, always we can keep in mind that if we are developing a chatbot which is in Copilot Studio, then a very important part can be focusing on the configuration part of it, which we did. So yeah, so how we can configure it effectively? One will be the bot instructions, and here we can specify what to and not to address, which I also spoke about a bit. We can also add examples, which we generally also do when we are interacting with any new age AI tools like a ChatGPT or Gemini. If the quality of prompts highly drive the quality of responses, so instead of putting the query as is, maybe you can provide examples in the instructions as to what a user might say and what will be an ideal answer for it, and that framework can be used by the chatbot in Copilot Studio to attempt the rest of the questions, and that would give you a much more desired answer. So again, this is also something that we can do as a part of the bot instructions. And the other part is the conversational boosting, which is the essentially the generative node that we talked about. So everything from the tone, length, the context, and everything which is tailored to the generative AI output should be a part of this. Yeah, I think I spoke enough about it. So yeah, the prompt engineering, like I said, it's the backbone of this effective conversation AI. So I would highly recommend, if any of you would want to develop this in future, a basic understanding of prompt engineering is a must, I would say, for making these bots and configuring it effectively. Yeah. Okay, so we saw this as well, the generative AI node. So the three parts would be the content moderation, the prompts, and the knowledge source. Okay, so Arash, do we have time for this? I can maybe rush through.
Yes, 5 minutes.
Oh, we have 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, I'll try to keep it quick. So I'll be talking about two high-level applications of Studio that we've already done and which is in high demand, which is really helping the end users right now. One is an HR chatbot, which essentially is handling a high volume of these queries, which is an organization employees queries, and these will be queries about your leaves, maybe your payroll or the company benefits, which is a very high frequency job. Now, the objective here is to cater to the three issues that we were seeing: the quality, quantity, and frequency. And then the solution that we deployed here was a Copilot Studio bot, which is called HR Buddy, which essentially answered to these questions. And it is currently deployed as well in the client environment. And we made sure that it is trained on all the policies that the company has. So they had already 500 such policies, and they were sitting on a SharePoint website. So instead of uploading it, we directly connected the SharePoint site with the chatbot, and it was able to crawl through the data of that and able to answer the employees. And also in terms of the user interaction, it is able to handle more than 1000 users per week in the current context. So that also helps in the infrastructure point. Okay. And the second that we did was an IT chatbot on ServiceNow. And this was highly dependent on the connector that we saw. So the graph connectors that we were looking at, one of them, if you saw, was a ServiceNow connector. So they're also of different types. So we have, so if any of you have raised a ticket or interacted with ServiceNow, we have divided them into three sections broadly. One is the knowledge article section, which essentially are these knowledge articles which with issues on how, for example, how to reset your password. There'll be a set of steps there. If you are not able to do it, you can just call the IT. So all these things are documented very well in knowledge articles. Second is catalogs, which are essentially request forms for accessing any applications. And third is incident management, wherein how you can raise a request. So it's an action that is involved there, right? So this particular IT chatbot, the second use case that I'm talking about, was the first section, which was a knowledge article section. So a relatively straightforward use case. We directly connected the ServiceNow connector with as a graph connected to this bot, and they were able to interact with it very, very effectively. So yeah, this was the second one. And yeah, lastly, we'll look at some best practices, which I'll again quickly run through. So if we are trying to create a conversational AI bot, we need to be very, very focused on the user-centric design firstly, because using a chatbot is a lot about adoption as well and the ease of it. So the whole idea of shifting a user from manually creating tasks or reading through the documents to using a chatbot is the ease of it. So for that, the user-centric design plays a very essential role in the chatbot development and deployment. Second is the conversation quality, which comes with the enhanced quality of the knowledge that you are training it on, the better prompts that you are writing, and also how you are trying to understand feedback and implement it in the next version. So if you are able to get to these three, then the conversational quality will enhance or maintain a certain quality, and that will effectively have better users. And thirdly, a technical optimization. So we, wherever possible, please use the graph connectors, use the advanced connectors. Make sure to have these AI bots deployed on Microsoft empowered channels, so that the publishing gets easier, and also the new versions of the same bot can be published in the same platforms much more faster way. So these are the three things. And I have time? So I wanted to do a quick key takeaways. I'm not sure if people are responsive in chat, but I just created this new way of maybe having key takeaways from this, and I'm sure this is the last slide. I promise. But yeah, so I was just trying to create this crossword, and I'm not sure if people are responding in chat or if they are responsive at all. But yeah, so I've created some takeaways that you can take from this session. So I might just give you all the answers here, and maybe you can try it again when you have time. So the first one is what we're trying to create end to end using an AI was a chatbot, and the three things that we focus on, which was the issues that came to the need of AI bots, was first was quantity, the second was quality, and the third was the frequency of responses. Apart from that, the most important point when it comes to deploying a bot was first step was create, and the second was configuration. And configuration is the most important step in any, and the third was to deploy. And the two use cases that we saw, one was an IT use case and the other was an HR use case, and the last one was basically key takeaways, wherein the best practices, wherein the first point was that the chatbot needs to be a user centric, should have a user centric design. So yeah, I think that is all I had. Thank you so much, Arsh. Thank you, everyone. I am open to any questions if you have.
Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you. Excellent. So it was concise and useful.
So I think for the actually 30 to 40 minutes. So it was
Okay.
great walkthrough, and we learned how we can build Copilot Studio agent and intelligent agent actually. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's thank you so much. So I'm seeing that
Thank
we have
you.
some question here. So let me bring to the screen. The first one is Suraj, and he asked, what is your take on having a custom bot inside the Power Apps model-driven application, which is linked to Dataverse tables?
Okay, again, why custom? I mean, you can have a low code, no code, conversation bot built in Studio and connected with Power Apps, which you already have a project that we're working on here. And the knowledge source can be a database table. Sure, we don't need to have a custom bot here. We can create the same thing in conversation on Copilot Studio. So the whole idea is Microsoft Power Platforms is a very well connected infrastructure, right? So everything Power Platforms will be easily deployable without getting a third party involved here. If that answers your question, Suraj, thank you for the question.
Uh, yes, thank you. But I'm going to help you through this answer technically. Actually, when you create your chatbot in the Copilot Studio, so in the Power Apps model-driven app, so you need to enable the Copilot feature in the through the environment settings in their Power Platform environment. And then when
Correct.
you enable it there, so you need to also go to the your app setting, and also through the Copilot control section, enable this again, and then you are able to use this your agent in the Power Apps model driven app. So I'm going to put a link to the chat. It might be useful for you, Suraj, to review this article from the Microsoft Learn site. Let me bring it here. Okay. Hopefully I can copy it here. Yeah, I just copied the link to the chat. You can review this article. Uh, it's a good walkthrough for you to enable this feature in the Power Apps model-driven app. And the next question, again from the Suraj, if you could talk about the Copilot license also, it would be helpful. So we have two different things. One is the Copilot, one is the Copilot Studio. So today we are talking about the Copilot Studio. It's different than the Copilot. For the Copilot, we have the Copilot for M365, Copilot for GitHub, Copilot, for sales. So it's a little bit different. So, but I think for the Copilot Studio, Samia can answer to your question.
Right. So we generally have it coming in as a part of the Dynamics 365 license, and I think I shared the same in the chat as well for the licensing cost. If you take individuals, Suraj, then I think $200 per month for 25,000 messages is the developer cost for Copilot Studio.
Hmm.
However, we generally go for a tenant. When it comes to our clients, so we have it a Dynamics 365 included license here, which is a pay as you go model, and it has roughly it is 25,000 messages, and I'll give you a conversion to it in tokens as well, but that's how what is included in it. Yeah, and everything which you saw, all the features that I was using, also connecting this to Power Automate or Power Apps as a facility is also included in the same tenant
Hmm.
licenses. Yeah,
Okay, awesome. So I'm going also to put another link. Oh, you added there? Okay, it's a yeah.
I did.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, that's it for a question. I'm not seeing another question here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. So thank you, Suraj, for your question, and thank you, Samia, for your great
thank you.
presentation. It was interesting for me to learn something new around the Copilot Studio, and it
Yeah,
was, I think, one of the best uh, walkthrough we had in our session about the Copilot Studio. Hopefully, we see you again in
thank you.
our future session. And yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye.